Hunt and Tim Hoffman. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Good.
Good, how are you?
Should we just yell at you guys right now?
Yeah, perfect. That's
Okay.
good.
You don't know what you're doing.
We'll handle
Take
it.
the peanut
We'll
butter out
handle
of
it.
your whistle.
Yeah.
That's right.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
Are you kidding me?
Come on.
Everything that you've said, we've heard multiple times, and as well, I like to say the saying of, we've heard it all, and yet every single year we hear something new, you know, and we all come together. We have stories and things like that.
Yeah.
Of just fun stuff.
It is
Do you
fun.
even hear those maniac parents?
Well,
or
don't
are
answer
you,
that.
Or are you able to compartmentalize it and just...
You know, it's a good question, and it depends on the sport for me.
Yeah.
Football's a little bit tougher. Usually you can't hear the fans as much,
Yeah.
but I think probably for you basketball, fans are probably right on top
Absolutely
of
hear it. It's the hardest thing to learn, I think, in sports for us is just one in through one ear, out the other.
Yeah.
And there are times, even the best of us just struggle with it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I am a repeat offender myself. So, you know, it depends on the day, you know, how you're feeling, how things are going. So just all talks about game management with us.
I think we need to tell the parents it's in one ear and out the other, so don't waste your energy.
The problem is-
have you ever been like, oh, you know what, Mom, you're right. I'm gonna.
Sam will tell you that just makes it worse.
You'd be shocked.
You'd be shocked. That makes it worse.
Yeah. Ironically, there was a time in which Andy's daughter was playing basketball, in which I had this situation.
Yeah, no, and obviously,
You know, it's like-
actually, it's a funny story. You had to stop the game. You were training younger officials, and you had to stop the game and tell all the parents, hello, we're training younger officials.
Yeah.
Would you like us to train them during the varsity game or when they're in third grade?
Yeah.
And but sometimes you just have to kind of explain life to some of these people.
And it's a great transition to what we're about to talk to you
Yeah.
about, because that's exactly what we're here to talk about, was about training young officials, right? And it's specifically in the youth stuff, which is something that Tim does. We try to get young people as well as new officials comfortable with officiating, as you can see the photos here, before they get into bigger games. Obviously, the comments that we were talking about earlier that are cheeky are difficult, especially for our newer officials to hear. So we're training them on how to become quality officials while also handling a game and game management. So it's a well thought out balance of artwork. So anyways.
And remember, the games could not be played without the officials, so please treat them with respect.
How young can they get started?
So the MHSAA, which is the Michigan High School Athletic Association, has a thing called a legacy program.
Okay.
That's actually what I did when I was younger at 14 years old. So right when they enter into high school, which is something that I had done 10 years ago now, that you can start getting in right at 14, doing some sub-varsity games, so JV and middle school games in multiple different sports, whatever sport you're interested in doing.
It's a great little part-time job.
Yeah, it's a part little, you know, I don't know, Tim, you can talk about the youth football and how much they pay, but when I was growing up, it was $25, $30, $35 for a youth basketball game, and it was a nice little weekend thing for me to go get some stuff. I do know, we just talked about faster horses. When I was like 17, 18 years old, I actually used some officiating money to purchase faster horses.
Oh, nice.
Right? So it's a great way, especially during the summer, and while you're in the middle of your busy school life as a young person, to kind of make a little bit of change.
Before we get into the golf outing and scholarships, what's the best way to get involved, if someone wants to get trained or become an official?
Good question. So as Sam indicated, the MSHA website will help you with the legacy, but our association will, if you reach out to us directly, and I know probably have more information posted on how to contact. Every sport has a particular trainer.
Okay.
You can get in hold of even our president, then we'll get you into touch with the correct personnel to get you registered and take you through all the steps to get you going and get started. And one thing about our association, it's not every sport that is played in. I think we don't have hockey is not in our association.
There's a good group of sports, but really we focus on basketball, football. We have track and field, volleyball, baseball, softball. A lot of your major hits are things that our association, which is the Jackson Area Officials Association.
But and we're always here to. And sorry to cut you off, Sam, but we're always here to help. So if there's a sport that you're interested in that you don't see listed on our website, still contact the president. He'll get in touch with, he'll forward their information on to get you the right personnel, because for me, my three sports, I do football, hockey, and softball.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
And there's a shortage, so we need
course.
these young people to backfill. What if I'm a retired coach or teacher or parent just looking for a way to fill my time? Would I be a good
You'll
candidate?
hear us say young officials, and when we say young officials, although we also want to put in our high school groups and things like that, actually the Michigan High School Athletic Association really is putting a focus on those retired or post sports things. So they really hit parents who may have your kids already aged out of
Yeah.
sports, or a retired teacher, or somebody who's just done with coaching. They're really putting a focus on what they like to say new officials
Okay.
rather than young officials.
Okay.
So we really try to focus with getting the new officials these opportunities of training and equipment.
Maybe
So-
some of those screamers
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're always
should
invited.
come
I
and
will
walk
not
in
lie.
your-
I have
walk in
actually
your
had a few
shoes.
people who have taken me up and they've become wonderful officials.
That's cool.
Yeah? Oh,
That's cool.
So it is wonderful.
Let's talk golf outing because this is cool, and you guys are awarding scholarships too.
Yeah, so this is our third annual golf outing
Okay.
for what we call the Kerry Lehman, Mike Ogden, and Dick Kalahar Memorial Golf Scramble.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So we do an annual golf scramble nowadays. After Kerry had first passed from COVID, he was a local official that right when COVID hit had passed away.
Yeah.
We started this golf outing to honor Kerry, and then we kept adding as Mike passed and Dick passed. We started building on this memorial scholarship. So this is a way for us as an officiating group to raise money for young and new officials to get their training as well as their upfront equipment costs when they begin, because it is a lot, just like any sport. When you play, it's a lot of money to start off with in equipment as well as making sure that you're ready to go. So we offer scholarships to new people who are interested in officiating through this fund.
Very cool.
Yeah, and to his point, we're using this money to also help to recruit retention of new officials. We're trying to help ease the entrance into becoming an official.
Okay.
There is a lot, not a ton, but there is an upfront cost there. You have association fees, you have registration fees, equipment itself. So we are just trying to spread, the
That's
news
great.
that we can help you get started. Just gotta
That's
call or email.
That's great. What's the hardest sport? I'll ask you guys
this is good.
to officiate.
Man.
I
So
go
they
back
all
to-
have their goods and bads, right? So football for me is the one that I enjoy the most. However, it can be the most intense at points.
Yeah.
Sure.
Basketball can be the loudest. It's the loudest for me. And then baseball is the one with the most calls.
Right.
So it's a lot more work than anything
Sure.
else for me.
Baseball?
So it all depends on, the different dynamics of the sport, right?
You know what I found out about baseball and with us broadcasting some baseball? That game is so fast paced when you're working it
Oh,
that
yeah,
you don't
yeah.
think,
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, and I like to call it a craft, just like everything else in the world. We are, and I specifically for football and baseball, it's a dance.
Yeah.
So in football, you are moving in a certain mechanic in a certain way. Same
Yeah.
with baseball.
Sure.
We do 120 squats while we watch the pitcher
Yeah.
every single time. So it really is a rhythm that you have to get used to. That's where the training does come in.
What is your favorite?
My favorite is football.
Yeah?
Now I always say, because I always joke with my dad. My dad's been doing basketball for probably 35 years
Yeah,
now.
I remember him at my
So
games.
and so we'll always go back and forth on for the winter sport, which is tougher, hockey or basketball.
Okay.
And I always say hockey because
Okay.
I always have the trump card. So I always tell him, I said, well, I can do basketball. You can't do hockey because you can't skate.
That's
Oh,
there you go.
yeah.
Hockey can get a little dicey.
Yeah.
Hockey can get a little dicey. I have a nephew that plays travel hockey, and this is what I think the deal with hockey is. It's so expensive, and parents are all worked up because they've spent all that money.
Yeah.
They've driven into another town,
Yep.
and their son or daughter's not getting the playing time they like. So it's just a perfect storm for
Yeah, they project it
for
on
everything.
Yeah, and it's tough, and
Yeah.
especially at certain ages. You're trying to, you can't really officiate intent, but
Yeah.
at certain age where they tripped or did they fall, and you're trying to let them play, but also enforce the
Of
rules that
course.
we're supposed to. So in hockey,
Yeah.
it's very quick, especially when you get to the older levels.
Yeah.
You only have a few seconds to
For
make
sure.
that decision, arm up or down.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming
Appreciate
in, and I want to remind everyone one more time when that golf outing is and encourage you to sign up. Should be a great time, and again, this will help support future officials that will be helping out and working around your kids here in town. So support if you can, and then if you have any questions, you can give Tim or Sam a call. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you
guys
very
so much
much.
for having us
Appreciate
on.
it.
Appreciate
Great
it.
week.
Tim Hoffman from the Jackson Area Officials Association. More of the show after this quick break.